Welcome to the very first episode of Curating Connection with Miss Smita Malhotra of Be Blessed Matrimony. Today, we are going to sit with the woman who started it all, the one who founded an elite matchmaking service which does curated matchmaking for every single person. Miss Smita has been doing this for 12 plus years now, and she is firmly of the belief that there is someone just for everyone. It only takes a little bit of expertise to find the right person. And that's where she comes in. She's someone who does matchmaking fiercely and passionately and finds you the right person who's tailor made for you. There's a lot of misconception and there's a lot of chatter happening about matchmaking in general. Today, we uncover once and for all what exactly it is all about. Smita Auntie is going to tell us some very deep perceptions or misconceptions that exist about this industry. Here with us today is Miss Smita Malhotra to share a few words of wisdom.
Hi, Vedika. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. It was amazing. Yes, Vedika, we begin. It's something which I am in love with. It's something which is, I can say, I wake up with it and I sleep with it. It's like I'm doing something at the back of my mind. The whole process. अरे किसको किसके साथ मिलाना है? अरे let's try this. अरे ये कर लेते हैं. Because I am into it totally. I mean, my brains all the 24 hours is just working for this. Yes, Vedika, I'm glad that you are talking to me because you are the face of today's youth. You are somebody who's going to be into this process. So, your questions, your queries, your inquisitiveness, I'm sure, is the same as of today's children.
Fantastic. So, Auntie, tell me a little bit. B Plus Matrimony has been there for a really long time now. How long has it been, and what made you start this entire journey?
Well, I've been here for 12 years. Okay. That's an interesting question. This all started when I was in London, yeah, at my friend's place. And this was early morning, one summer morning when we were all having our breakfast. And my friend's daughter comes to me running with a piece of paper and tells me, Auntie, read this. How do you feel about this? And then she rolls out some more papers. And I said, what is all this? She says, Oh, I went online to search a match for myself. And I just went through all the papers and I just looked at her and I asked her, Are you serious? You're going to find a guy for yourself online with no verifications, whether we don't know if the information given there is correct or not? Yeah. She says, Yeah, because what other choice do I have, Auntie? Because you know how friends are. They're not going to help me search. They're going to first search for themselves. And relatives, well, it all depends whether we are on the same equation or not. Okay. But I had no choice. And I said, No, hold on. This is not what we are going to do. So, and initially before that, I used to match a lot of my friends' children, London, New York, Australia, Bombay, yeah, and just helping friends out. And this is how I got in. And then slowly I realized, and this is what my friends told me, that you're so good at it. You're the way you taking care of each profile and the way you scrutinizing them. Why don't you make it a profession? Because not everybody does this in the market, because everybody just says that, oh, send the profile and take the profile. Nobody gets into the details of it, you know. So that's how I started my journey. And here I am since 12 years. And trust me, now it's become like a passion for me. I am, in any ways, I was always in love with children. Trust me. I mean, I don't think I can do anything else but this. And I just love it. I love today's generation. I love the way they are. I love their focus. I love the way, they think. It's too good. It's just that we need to just understand them a little bit. Of course, my times, I'm not uh, of today, but our times were different. But yes, we can always relate. And that's what education teaches us, that we relate to everything with circumstances. And that's where our education matters.
That was pretty well said, Auntie. And you say you're not of today's time. Are you sure? Because that sounds like one of the most Gen Z things you could have ever said. So I think that's pretty cool of you to understand and relate to us. I think it's really important for the youth, to have that sort of connection. And very often I feel like our generation thinks that, people who are of a generation above, they just don't understand. And, that disconnect is there. And that's how, those little conflicts happen. But I think if, we sit down and we sit and talk to each other, like how we're doing right now,
It's very simple. What I do is just use your language, use your thought process, and everything falls in its place. You cannot, the only thing I require you, to be honest, nothing else. The only thing I require you is the readiness to move in this journey, right? Yeah, correct. Let's begin the journey. Only if you're ready, you're going to give 100%. And when you give 100%, I'm sure things will fall in its place.
I agree.
Readiness is the key to this journey.
Definitely. 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 And Auntie, tell me one thing. What makes Be Blessed Matrimony different from all the other matchmaking services or online matchmaking that exists out there?
Well, our process is simple. When you call us up, we ask you to first send us the profile. Once we go through the profile, uh, we know what we have to do. Okay. And then we tell them, yes, we are, you know, we're going to be ready with working on your profile. And after that, we go to the house, we visit the house, we visit the candidate, check on the parents. If they are grandparents, we check on that. Going to the house is not to see what wealth they have or what's their lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's to generally feel the kind of lifestyle they have so that we can match with that. Also, the body language speaks a lot. When a child is sitting in front of you, when the parents are sitting in front of you, when the grandparents are there, when there are servants, so many things are involved. So many things. Your behavior, your body language, the way you talk, the way you behave with your parents, the way you talk to your parents, the way you convey things to me. So many things matter. And that is where we try to, match or see things because we're not trying to be judgmental, okay? It's just that we try to just see. It's like uh, a simple thing. Like when a CS sees your file, he just knows how to, arrange your finances. He's not getting into your finances. It's similar to that. Yeah. He's just trying to tell you how you can, uh, look after your finances, basically. And that is exactly what we come here for. We are just going to see the kind of things, the kind of lifestyle, the kind of person you are. You are humorous, you are mature, you're silent. If you're quiet, we know what to tell you, how to pep you up. Yeah. I mean, there's so many things. So this is one of them. And once we have done that, we start the journey. Uh, we start exchanging the profiles. But we are very, very clear and we are very strict on one thing, that no girl's profile will go in the market first. We are very clear. We do not keep on, sending profiles. We don't do that. Only if we know that yes, this is going to match here, we try and this profile does not go anywhere. First, the girl gets the profile, the girl's parents or the girls get the profile first. And once they approve, it goes to the guys. We are very strict on this.
That's actually really interesting. And that's the first time I'm hearing about something like this because I'm sure you're aware of this, on all these modern dating apps, etc. Oftentimes it's the girl who makes the first move. And I think it's to sort of make the woman feel more comfortable. So this sort of reverse approach is a very interesting approach to me. Could you maybe elaborate a little bit more about this?
The simple reason is, I'll just give you a simple example. Suppose one girl has not even met a guy, okay, and the profiles are roaming in the market. You know the general concept that people have in the market is, oh, this has been since a year. this profile has been, circulating since a year. We don't want that. And secondly, uh, socially, you know, uh, people are somewhere or the other connected to one another. Okay. So we don't want that thing to leak out.
Mm.
That's a major, major thing.
That's great. So what I'm hearing is BBM really values privacy, and you get just a very quiet, tasteful sort of process to this matchmaking situation. That's lovely. So tell me more about something, Auntie. Now, when we are talking about, marriage and modernism and culture and old versus new, in all of these conversations and this jhamela that we've created, what simply, very simply, what is marriage? What does that mean to you? What is this institution of marriage, and how does it stay relevant in modern times?
Well, most of us, I wouldn't blame the youngsters because you see movies like Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. You have the Simran and Raj there, and you have such lovely stories happening in our Bollywood and the Hollywood, of course. And I wouldn't blame the kids after that, to that. But yes, we need to come out of the cuckoo world. We need to come out of our comfort zone. Our comfort zone is our parents' zone. That is where we need to come out from. It's very important. As I said earlier, willingness, giving 100% is the only key to this journey. It will help you out. And what is important here is uh, I've realized that however modern the family is, it's looking out for culture. Trust me. You could be the wealthiest family of Asia, the wealthiest family of India. Everybody's looking out for culture. Modernism comes to your thought. Modernism is something which makes you progressive in life, which gives you a positive approach towards life. But modernism does not mean that we are modern and let the culture go wherever it's going. No. Modernism with culture. So I personally feel that culture plays a very, very big role. I mean, we've done the top families of the country. Uh, I wouldn't like to name because of the privacy. Yeah. But trust me, in the whole process, what they were looking is culture. Cultured family, cultured girl, a girl with some ambition not because they want her to work and feed the family, but when you have a ambition or you have some sort of an interest in your life, your whole personality is different. I can give you an example. Somebody who doesn't have any interest, she or he, would be like a dull person. You're just there because you're there. The body is moving, there's no emotions. You're not emoting your happiness, your sadness. There's no emotions at all. So, again, I'm saying culture.
Mm.
Guys, I'm not telling you culture means, sit, do pujas, do, uh, some sevas and all. No, culture is respecting elders. Culture is some boundaries on our life. Culture is, the way we dress up, the way we move, the language that we speak. That is all culture is about. And I don't think it's a big thing. It's a very, very small thing. Yeah. It's not rocket science. Using good language, wearing good clothes, understanding the boundaries, that is what I'm sure we all can do it as education teaches us much beyond that.
Yeah, I agree. So, what I'm hearing is culture seems like a very big criteria that you specifically have. But when we talk about, your clients who come to you, what are the kind of criteria do they come with? Is it all very physical and essay, essay, they should be like this? Or has it evolved to become a little more open minded and, accepting of people as they are? What's happening?
That's a very good question. Sometimes when they come with so many criteria, and I tell them, I wish your auntie could tailor made make a soulmate for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there were factories there to make a soulmate. And that's something which I can't do it, of course. None of us can do it, rather.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, everybody has criterias. Um, everybody is looking out. There are so many boxes, but I personally feel if your 10 boxes are there, decide the ones which are negotiable and decide the ones which are non-negotiable. First, explore yourself, which is very important. Then explore the looking out and going and meeting people. Explore yourself. What are the ones which are non-negotiable? What are the ones which are negotiable? It's simple. Few questions, like if you're a vegetarian, you want a vegetarian. If you are okay for somebody who's not highly educated, height, relocation, yeah, then how important is the looks for you? Okay. Oh, this is, it's okay. I mean, but there is something beyond that. There's something beyond that. There's something beyond, much, much beyond that. Somebody who has lot of chivalry, somebody who is much more matured, somebody who understands you, who's ready to listen to you, somebody who's going to be a part of, your progress and his progress. Yeah. So there are so many things.
Yeah.
Okay. uh Looks, I don't say looks fade away with time and all these are bullshit talks. Nothing fade away. And nothing called fades away. Okay,
Yeah.
we all grow.
Yeah.
And obviously because we grow, things are different.
Right.
Okay. But there's nothing called looks fade away. Ones who are beautiful, they remain beautiful. And they die beautiful. Okay. So it's nothing like that. But the willingness to work with each other is more important than anything else, and to hear each other. How much can the opposite person understand you? That's more right.
I totally agree. So, Auntie, tell me something. What you said makes a lot of sense to me, but does it make sense to your client if you find a match and then they say, "Nahi, Auntie, not this, not that"? Do you face these sort of nakras, and how do you deal with them?
Surprise, Vedika. Most of the time, because I've met both the sides, so I know what will go well and why it will go well, and what is the reason that things would work like a magnet. I'll know that very well. Okay. But obviously, for a child to go as per my wishes, is definitely the child is going to first, sort of what you can say, they're going to resist. Yeah. But trust me, believe me, whenever they have resisted, that thing has worked. And it has really worked.
Yeah.
And when they come back and they give us the feedback and they say, "Auntie, you were right. I would like to meet again." But criterias, again, what I have noticed is has changed with time. You know, when you begin, things are different. Then slowly, when you go through this journey of search, things have changed. Not that because the person has changed, because the person has met few people and has realized that what my checkpoints or what my non-negotiable and the negotiable points are, I need to relook into that. Not because the person has changed, not because his thought process has changed. It is because after meeting people, they have realized that yes, this is where I think I can compromise. This is where I think this was a point which was missing in my checklist. I think I need to add that.
Yeah.
You know? So nothing has changed. Nothing changes with the journey. It's just that you become more experienced. Yeah. I mean, you become more experienced about how to go about it. How your first meeting is always something which is a little nervous. You're quiet. Either you're only talking about yourself and not bothered about asking the opposite person. And those cases have happened. The only one person is talking, not bothered to know what the other person, anything about the other person. So basically, it's all a time of journey, how well the journey is going. That's what is important.
Yeah. I guess we all think we know what we want, but what I've realized, even in other situations, we just never know. You know, we want something, then we figure out something further, and then we go down, we explore, and then what we wanted initially, we just realize, wo chahiye hi nahi, right? And I think with marriage as well, you know, you keep on thinking you have these criterias, and then it suddenly changes. And I think we all need someone who's like a guide or a mentor or someone who's trusted to show us the way. And I think you feel that.
Yeah, we on the moment you are with us and the moment we start the journey, trust me, what type of clothes to wear, how you want to dress, which are the places that you should go to in your first, second, third meeting, what are the questions that should be focused on, how your whole body language should be. We take care of many other things as well, which will talk to you with time, you know.
That's lovely. So, Auntie, tell me something. When we talk about, you know, marriages today, and you've been in the industry for a while, do you see any shifts in trends and like currents that come in and fads, they come and die? What keeps changing? What are the new trends right now?
I just remember 84 to 87, perhaps, or maybe 83 to 87 born children, where the girls also got highly educated and so did the boys. Okay. And there was so much of difficulty in matching them because to to my surprise, the girls got more educated than the guys of that time. And the best part is, yeah, I believe in women empowerment. But then, has anybody worked how to handle this women empowerment? Uh, you know, teaching the guys, especially, it's been a difficult task because and people started rejecting each other. And trust me, all the good rishtas were, rejected. And then came a time when they had to compromise on things which was not in their checklist. So why do that? And now, surprisingly, what I see is the younger age group is coming. I've realized that, the days when 22, 23 uh, girls and boys, parents used to just decide and get them married, that trend is coming again. And now the parents say, okay, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन करना है जाओ दोनों साथ करो शादी करो पहले और साथ में करो you know because when you're younger the the way you can mold yourself your thought process like, your lifestyle your adjustments are far far better than when you're 28, 29. That's good. Trust me, I'm not saying that they cannot get married. Of course they can get married, yeah, but uh, the early the better.
Hmm. That is so true, Auntie. So you mean to say we grow together, basically?
Yeah.
That's correct. That's lovely. And I would have never thought that this is the trend that's happening. Yeah, we have few cases, a few profiles rather, sorry, where the girl and the boy together have gone for their masters.
Oh.
To US, to UK. And touchwood, they are so happy. That's great. So it's like a little bit of the old traditions with a new thought process. That's where happening. A perfect mix of old and new. I think that all.
And I think here I give credit to the parents. You know, here these are the ones where the parents have evolved with their children, right, with time. And because they have evolved with time with their children, you know, they are walking this journey together. Lovely. The parents which who have not been able to evolve with the children, they are not able to walk through the journey. In fact, then comes any question asked by the parents, they get a little irritated.
Yeah.
So evolving yourself with the kids is something which a lot of parents have started doing it. And I give 100% credit to them, because that's what is making life more easier, more happier, less of, problems in the marriage.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if this trend goes on, where the parents are equally evolving with the kids, trust me, the divorce cases will be far, far less.
Wow, that's powerful, Auntie. Yes, I think that's a very good insight that you've given because people think that divorce is happening because people are becoming modern, but I think those problems are deeper, and I think you can really shed light on it as we move along further. That is definitely a topic we should pick up sometime. But tell me one thing, and this is something I really want to know. We've spoken about matchmaking a lot. Now I know how Be Blessed Matrimony works and what makes you so unique and how your process is really so holistic, and it really picks on every tiny little subtle detail, and it's super tailor made. What is, or rather who is matchmaking for, because people have seen all these content pieces that are coming out, shows, etc., and matchmaking really has been a buzzword these days. It's been in the light for a little while now, but we never talk about who matchmaking really is for, because everyone thinks it's some alien foreign concept. कौन कर सकता है matchmaking?
Why should it be alien and for why shouldn't it be for everyone? Let's get one thing very clear, Vedika, that matchmaking is for everyone. Okay. And I personally feel one should go through this process. Not because of any other reason, but this process gives you a better option, a wider option, where you don't have to take any obligations of friends or family or anybody. Plus, here you have everything scrutinized, due diligence done. Yeah. More than 80% of the things are done by us. The 20% we leave it to you. Okay. And here, before you even meeting a person, we tell you so much about that person that you are ready. You're totally ready. It's a fear. People are shying out of this. Why should you shy out? Come out, come in open and say, yes, I am going to a matrimony company. Why? Because I'm getting options. My choice widens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why shy out? And I think it's for everybody. There is, I personally, as I told you even earlier, uh, God has made a soulmate for everyone. We all have one beautiful feature. We just need to know which it is and highlight it. We are all blessed with something or the other. Come out of it, get the fears out, and start rolling your life. Be frank, don't shy out. And I'm telling you today, I'm being honest, people are doing it. Slowly, they are coming to that, you know, uh, that yes, I'm taking a help from a matrimony company.
Yeah, that's very insightful, because I think now that notion that matchmaking is either for super rich people and very elite classes, or जब कुछ काम नहीं करता है और कुछ नहीं हो रहा है तो चलो ठीक है फिर मैच मेकिंग कर ही लेते हैं. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think it's more so like personal service, right?
It's something personal service. Enjoy the process. That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah.
It's, you know what? It's a date which you're going. Of course, it's a blind date we are going to, where the parents are happy कि यार बच्चे देव मिलने रहे, you know?
Yeah.
तो इससे बड़ी चीज क्या हो सकती है?
Yeah.
It's a blind date. Yeah. Where the parents are happy. हाय आज मेरा बच्चा जा रहा है मिलने.
Yeah.
So what better can it be?
Yeah, आपकी डेट ब्लाइंड हो सकती है बट पेरेंट्स ब्लाइंडेड नहीं है. They know exactly what's happening and they're supportive actually.
Yes.
That's great. So Auntie, I think this has been a great first, conversation. We've really broken down all the notions about matchmaking. It's not for just the elite. Neither is it just a last ditch attempt to finally find something because you're desperate. ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. आपने खुद ही बताया. I think what I want to do is now conclude by saying that we have so much more coming. I think this is such a vast topic, and one episode will not cover it. I'm sure there's so many myths and misconceptions. Just I think if Auntie, starts talking, you can just do 5 episodes on. So I would like to say that there's a lot more coming, and I'm very excited to have this conversation with you as the youth, like you said. Thank you very much, Auntie.
Thank you, Vedika. It was lovely. Loved it talking to you on every question, and I hope I've satisfied you. Looking forward for some more questions.
Yes. Oh, I have many questions, Auntie. Yes. Thank you so much.